Hey everybody, this is Mcluvin News. This is another follow-up on Sunday because you know why I create this kind of content? It's not just because I know that you have to produce a lot of videos and content to catch up, to build a subscriber base, to get followers, but that's not what it's all about here. It's not just about me, it's about you guys. So why am I doing this? Why am I taking my 34-year-old life with no female, never had a real date, never had a real female in my life? I've even had some heartbreak with some harsh words that I've heard from mother's kids that just didn't know who I was because they had a terrible past relationship with their father and they misunderstood my whole entire role in the relationship with their mother at that time. Now, last week tonight with John Oliver covers the topic of corn and corn production here. This is season 11, episode 12. So there's some weird, interesting, funny, humorous things in this episode. There's some real good core messaging as well. And I want to get straight to it. So, just to speed along, since you guys need to know the truth about what's going on with corn, which Donald Trump referred to as liquid gold. He actually said that. That's actually covered in here. And he dives right into it. Even the fact that even in Germany, a lot of people don't know this, that AFD, if you guys don't know this, if you're in Germany or you're in the UK, this is a special shout out to you guys. Germany recently this year, having already seen the Donald Trump candidacy and the Donald Trump campaign, here we go, America, we've already done this. We've inspired somebody. You remember that thing I said a while back? Maybe you haven't. America's supposed to inspire the world to take an example. Well, we did a wonderful job. We got Donald Trump elected back in 2016, and somehow or another, our greatest ally, Germany, our greatest closest friend, all the way in Germany, they seem to now think because America did it, Germany should do it. Let's kick out immigrants. Let's go back to far-right extremism. Let's even support Nazis. Uh-oh. Well, AFD is that group in Germany that the far-right Republican side of Germany's type of their election, they're all too well and friendly with. And a lot of Germans are very upset with this. This is something to keep followed on. Please keep track of this because right now we're coming up on 2024 where MAGA, as I call it, successfully replaced the Republican Party. We're now going to be watching the Republican Party with full control to the Senate. And wait a minute, hold on. I got my other phone over here. This is why I got phones. I can't afford fancy equipment. Oh man, a lot of things I wish I could be doing right now besides worrying about future of kids. But you know what? Since I don't have kids, as I said, I worry about kids. I worry about you guys. The House is officially closing in on what looks like everybody in MAGA. You excited for this? You really ready? Total, absolute control. And yeah, you're looking at it right there. You see that right there? Maybe backwards. That says 213 for the GOP and 203 for Democrats. Now, it's still not officially claimed, but it's looking really good for Republicans. And if that happens, it's going to be total, absolute responsibility, full, total accountability. Wherever you ever heard the phrase that too much of anything's not good, it's going to be complete and total Republican control. We're going to be basically not wanting to watch what's going on. And that's the biggest mistake. Just face the reality. That's the dumpster fire we're in, people. I wish I had a girlfriend. I wish I had a partner. I wish I had a woman who took me on a real date. I wish I was able to be at this point and have kids and have a family. I have my own house. I own my own car. I've paid off all my bills. I've had some misfortunes with somebody throwing me into way too much debt, but I know the person, they're doing what it takes to make it right, and I'm doing what I can on my side to grow something bigger while I'm going through a hardship, suffering, and debt, not to just focus on my own struggle, but to think about everybody else going through it on the bigger picture out there for time and generations to come, for kids and generations now. So in Germany, there's this group in this episode called AFD, and Germans think that going back to a far-right German party, which is that AFD, may threaten democracy and can be spied on. And that's what happened. This was reported back May 13, 2024 by the Washington Post. John Oliver covers this in AFD. Remember that AFD? That's the far-right group. There's even a guy in this group that looks like a straight-up Nazi. Blue eye, white hair. The German far-right leader intentionally used banned Nazi slogan, court rules, and his name is Hoch. He was a former history teacher in Germany, and he still got behind this far-right emphasis and Nazi column. That's the most disturbing factor of this whole thing. And his name is spelled Hochke. And the way John Oliver kind of covers it, he kind of skipped over the history of Germany after he kind of covered the former history of what happened in the world, because it's such a disgraceful reality that somebody who's a former teacher could turn around.
Everything for Germany twice.
And he even repeats a phrase, everything for Germany. Again, this is ways back, but that's a picture of him. So you guys can see that. I'll zoom in. That's his picture. That's his face. And even John Oliver makes the comment that he looks like a Nazi sympathizer.
Political rallies. The phrase was once a motto of the
He kind of like looks around.
of the Nazi Party.
A lot of people are really upset with this in Germany,
Claiming it is a common and everyday
but
phrase.
he's not. He's not all innocent, because people marching in the streets with these banners for them. Check this out. Watch this.
And another convicting one of their leading members on a pretty striking charge.
A prominent figure in Germany's far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD party, is standing trial for using a banned Nazi-era slogan.
Uh-oh.
Björn Hocker allegedly repeated the phrase, "everything for Germany," twice at political rallies. The phrase was once a motto of the original paramilitary wing of the Nazi Party. Hocker denies...
Look at him. He's even marching
origins of the slogan,
in the video.
claiming it is a common and everyday phrase.
Oh, okay, so anyway, copyright, all that.
Everything for Germany was a Nazi slogan.
Oh, he's totally unaware. Right.
Given one, those are Nazi eyes right there.
He says Nazi eyes. Do you guys agree?
Going into politics,
Anyway.
he was a history teacher.
He was a history teacher.
So unless his version of German history went Middle Ages.
Middle Ages, 18th century, then von Bismarck, and then everyone just kind of hung out for a while as John Oliver covers. And then 1980s, he just skipped over all of it. And that's his name and face.
It's a stark difference from the US.
And think about it, Germany's going through this, the world's going through this. Putin's celebrating silently. I already know MAGA's celebrating silently. We people, we united people who did not vote on that side, the MAGA party, we are the ones who know we're not a part of that side. We're not a part of that cult. We're not a part of that hate, division, and white nationalism. And here in Germany, earlier this year, that's dated back from 2022, but still it doesn't really matter. It's disturbing in its same context, because this article is posted up May 24th, 2024. So there was even a reporter who spoke in the far-right group who was risky enough to actually stay in there, report in there, and do that while people were physically talking about the far-right agenda. So one guy that was even interviewed even said blatantly, like, how dangerous would it be to be so far right Republican, or even be like Nazi? And that was in there. And some of the women over there and people's opinions, they think that it's okay to just kick out immigrants. And, you know, what was so bad? You know, because of their age, being 60 and older, they think that they're entitled to basically say, at this point now, they've got a right to make the verdict over everybody else's life, regardless of their nationality or ethics. They're then after this, and the reference to, again, sorry to this guy, our lovely actor, Mr. Mel Gibson. He's been compared to a Nazi sympathizer, which I can't disagree. I mean, I haven't done a lot of research, but you guys can look into it. I'm not going to make the full article about a famous celebrity, because this isn't about just celebrities. This is about the core of what's going on. But that guy couldn't even answer a teenager when he was asked what his favorite poem was. And you guys need to check out this article if you haven't seen it, from John Oliver. I implore you to check it out. Then he digs into corn, and a real summary to what corn is going on. Corn is our #1 production in the United States. It is literally so hyper valued. It's the only food and productive vegetable, which has no benefit for our bodies, but it's the only one that they're focused on in the agricultural crops, where there's so many scams, loopholes, gray areas. And if I say scams, I mean like ways that people can exploit the corn business and the mega millions to make themselves rich. Farmers, whom are the main crop growers, can literally just go in there, sign a contract, and have their cousins, nephews, friends, anybody could go in there and sign in and make money off of as minimum as maximum the profit of up to 125 grand. That's a fun idea. Check out the episode though. Okay. Not that I say it's fun for you, but you can think about the money you could be putting to use from the kind of corruption that's going on with our corn industry right now. Because while the emphasis of everything else is going on, food shortages, water shortages, pesticides getting into the water, corn crops are responsible for a lot of, by the way, the big companies produce this. If you haven't seen the Idiocracy movie, where like they essentially tell everybody in there that you just switch over to Gatorade and use like a type of sports drink to water the crops. Well, the thing with corn is, in our real life world, what they're doing in these mega powerful corn industries, they're spraying chemicals to super hyper grow these crops. And when that stuff leaches into the water and gets into our food and drinking water, it can create complete dead zones, which can kill fish. It can kill, and it can also create blue baby syndrome. So research it. Research blue baby syndrome, and research other risks and facts of the abuse of what is going on with our big mega crop industries out there in the world. This is helpful, informative information for you guys to dig into. And Donald Trump, in the last part of this video, said a very rarely careless and silly thing. He actually compared a new phrase that he believes is his own claim in live from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, during this year in 2024, back in May. He said these exact words. This is what Trump said. You guys are going to hear this. This is what he says.
To whatever George Bush thought he was doing here.
So
there is a long history of
I can't show John Oliver's full video because I have to protect YouTube copyrights, but I'll tell you what happened.
I just met non-liquid gold.
So he says, Trump says, I met non-liquid gold in Iowa. You know what it's called? It's called corn. It's non-liquid. You have more non-liquid gold. They said, what is that? He said, oh, we love that idea.
That's a nickname in its
That's,
own way.
and Trump says, that's a nickname. We just came up with a new word.
Corn.
We just came up with a new nickname for corn. And John Oliver's like, what? Did you?
Non-liquid gold isn't so much a way of
I
describing
mean,
coal
non-liquid gold isn't so much as actually describing coal, but actual gold. And I couldn't agree more. It's funny. It's a funny segment. He doesn't focus on Trump really that much because this isn't just about Trump. We don't always hyper-focus on Trump. We'll worry about Trump in 2025 onward. We're more focused on what is affecting us now. So if you people are a little bit upset of how our mega wealthy corn industrial, agricultural, mega companies are doing what they're doing to our farmland and our country, where more than, well, I think it's like around roughly what he states in here. It's about, I think he said it's exactly 10% or no, it's less than 10%. I think it's like 5%, but out of all of it, most of it is going toward feeding animals this really terrible corn type cheap grade that is basically sawdusty and nasty and gross. And aesthetically, when you go by a cornfield, everyone will look at it imagingly, like in the history books, and look at it and be like, oh, what a wonderful picture. But deep down inside, there's that chemical leaching and the problem with, the outcome of the way that our crops are being watered and treated with chemical enhancers just to force production corn through the process. And like I said, a majority of that corn is going to animals that we eat, and a lot of that is actually going to kill those animals, which is a very sad reality. And these are livestock that are meant to be eventually slaughtered. That's what they're grown for, that production. But the fact is, these animals, as I've learned, would end up dying anyway because of the corn. It can actually kill them, this type of corn. So look into it. Not every grain of corn that's grown or raised is always meant for human production. And what isn't used for human production by the big money guys, they go and force the animals to eat that, and then that's later what ends up on our plates. So you got to feel a little bit of empathy for the cows. And this is why I try not to eat a lot of red meat anyway. I have to watch my blood pressure and I have to stay away from it. But the core root of this message for today from Mcluvin News is the thought process to think a little bit bigger than ourselves and get educational on this. Check out the episode again. That was season 11, episode 12 with John Oliver last week tonight. Thanks for watching.